What's up, guys? What's going on? This is RJ Game News USA, and I'm about to give you what probably is my most important top 10 list of the year, and that is my top 10 video games of 2025. Now, before you get too excited, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video. But let me preface this by saying this is not a list of the greatest Metacritic games of the year. This is not a list of the best-selling games of the year or the most popular necessarily. Or there may be a game that came out that I didn't even play, right? This is a list of games that I played. This is a list of games that I enjoyed, ranked in the top 10 for this year. Now, there's some rules about this, okay? Remakes and remasters can count. However, I'm giving them lesser priority than new releases in most cases. It could be multiple from a franchise. There's really no rules. This is just what I enjoyed, but it had to have come out this year in some form. Okay? And no, I'm not counting NSO games. I'm not being that ridiculous. Alright, so let's start this list with number 10. It's a game I've discussed a lot this week, Dispatch. I got a full review on the channel. I went over the Metacritic scores. I played all 8 episodes on stream. You guys have been through me every step of the way with this game. There's even a whole playlist for Dispatch as well, if you want to check it out. It's definitely a top 10 game this year. It makes the cut. You know, I really enjoyed the story of this game. There's not a lot of games where I enjoyed the story very much this year. I'm more of a gameplay guy than a story guy. But in this case, when it's a Telltale style game, I can put the gameplay on the back burner if it tells me a good story. And I just fell in love with the cast of characters. And so I don't think the story is necessarily even the greatest in the world. I just fell in love with the cast of characters. I thought it was a fun game. So it's on the list. Number 9, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. This is such a solid 2D platformer. You know, in an era where we're needing more 2D platformers, where I'm excited for the next 2D Donkey Kong and 3D Donkey Kong, let's be honest. Getting this game towards the beginning of the year on the Switch, you know, 10 years after it basically came, actually more than 10 years, more like 15 years since it came out of the Wii, I just enjoyed it again. It's just a really rock-solid fucking platformer. Played it again, beat it again, highly recommend it. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Boss fights are supreme. Level design is supreme in this game. Number 8, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, you guys know I love Xenoblade Chronicles. X is probably the weakest in the series on the story side of things. On the gameplay side of things, I prefer it over 2. But, you know, you guys know I think really highly of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 3 more than I do X and 2. That being said, X is a great game. It's going to take you tons of hours to play. It definitely held me over at the very tail end of the Switch's life cycle. But this game does lack a little bit of personality and charm. But what it lacks there, it makes up for in the fact that it's the biggest Xenoblade game. That has the most missions, the most things you could do, really. And so, I highly recommend checking this game out. And just, if anything, if you're not jiving with the story, turn your brain off and just enjoy all the side quests. Because there are a bunch of them. And it's a huge, huge world. And I'm glad to see that it came to modern consoles. Number 7, Super Mario Galaxy 2. Now, this was my 2010 game of the year back on the Wii. It does have a little bit of issues, in my opinion, going to the Switch controller. Especially, using the Pro controller with Yoshi. It's not perfect. But the game looks absolutely fucking gorgeous, upscaled. And it also it's just a really fun platformer, and it's more of a traditional Mario game than it is one of those 3D Mario games where there's a little more exploring, like Sunshine or 64, or even Galaxy 1. So it just seems to hit you more with linear level after linear level. You could see how they were arcing towards Super Mario 3D World after this. But I enjoyed the game very much. Played it again, beat it again, enjoyed it. Great boss fights. I think it's slightly better than the first Galaxy, as long as you don't mind some linearity there. There's a lot of diverse worlds, and having Yoshi there made the game a little bit better, in my opinion. Although, like I said, the controls aren't the greatest with Yoshi in this version of the game. Number 6, this will be on nobody else's top 10, but this is why it's in my top 10. Splitgate 2. I considered re-downloading it. Dead ass. I've seriously considered, man, I kind of miss playing this game. I mean, once Madden came out, my focus was, hey, I'm just going to play Madden multiplayer a lot. And I played a lot of Madden. And we're hitting the tail end of Madden soon. Football season's running low. So, but Splitgate 2, I got 16 live streams on a playlist of it. Some of those live streams went 6 hours long. I played it with friends of the channel like Eli Gaming and Scooter, and we had a great time. Mostly when the beta was out. When the full release came out, they kind of fucked some stuff up with the game. I'm not gonna lie. They kind of fucked some stuff up with the game. But it was a really fun multiplayer. And I just had a lot of fun with it. And fun is what makes video games meaningful at the end of the day. And it's free to play. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. It has some controversy with the creator. Them shutting down Splitgate 1 was a problem. Again, I think they made some wrong moves with how they changed the game from the original. The original had more best 3 out of 5 rounds, and they kind of went to 2 out of 3. Don't love it. But it's still an awesome game. Number 5, probably the most played game this year. Oh, definitely the most played game this year for me. Madden 26. I put over 100 hours into this. We have about 50 live streams of this game. Dead serious. I'm starting to slow down on it a little bit. You guys notice it's not been out every fucking day. I've been playing Dispatch and doing some other things. But I've played hundreds and hundreds of Madden games, over 100 hours, and you guys have seen every bit of it. It's just so fun. I had so much fun, and having so much fun playing Madden. There's been so many times where a Hail Mary won the game, or something crazy would happen at the end, and it's just got rock solid controls and graphics, and it's not as janky as past Maddens, in my opinion. And I just love playing against competition, doing strategy, and playing a football game and enjoying the hell out of it. And that's what I've been doing to this day, still enjoying it. And we probably got another month or so of Madden to enjoy. So who knows how many hours we'll actually put in by the end of it. But Madden 26 had to be in my top 5 somewhere. Number 4... Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Now, for a lot of you, this is the game of the year. For Metacritic, this is pretty much the best rated game this year. And it pretty much swept at the Game Awards, and I have no problem with that. This is probably the only game here on the list that I did not beat. I did not beat it. I got to the Act 2 boss and got wiped and rage quit. Apparently, there wasn't too much more to do after that. Apparently, Act 3, you could face some super bosses or pretty much go straight to the main boss anyway. I got most of the gist of the story. So, again, I feel bad I couldn't beat this game. I think it's pretty hard. I think it's a pretty hard game for me to beat. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the most skilled gamer that could get through it. Or the most patient person. But you can see me on stream playing the game. You can see me enjoying it. I have a whole Claire Obscure playlist, including review scores, my personal review, and many hours of gameplay. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. The Act 1 boss almost made me quit, but I got through it. So there's a lot of things I like about this game, and I have it at number 4. So that brings me to number 3, Mario Kart World. I put over 60 or 70 hours into this game. Granted, I've barely touched it much since then. Once I pretty much did all the stuff you could do single player wise. Pretty much I'm not going to sit here and say I got every single P-switch and every single coin or everything you do in the open world. But I did quite a bit of that. And you have to do some of that to unlock Special Cup as well. But I sat there and gold starred, or gold cup 3-starred every Grand Prix. I gold crowned 3-starred every knockout tour. On every CC, so that's really fucking difficult, and I bashed my head against the wall to do so. I took it as a personal challenge. It felt much harder than doing that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, trying to get gold trophy with 3-star on everything on all the Grand Prix there, even though that also was bashing my head against the wall, but because they were dropping it in DLCs, it didn't take me too long to do. But some of these knockout tours are ridiculous. You had to be in first place at every single checkpoint to get your 3-star. And at any point you weren't, you didn't get your 3-star. So, an incredible challenge that I'm happy to say I completed in that game. And then number 2, this may come as a surprise to some of you, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. God damn, this is another game I wish I could have been able to stream to you guys. I wish Nintendo had streaming software like PlayStation 5, because I would have streamed you guys so much Mario Kart, and I would have streamed you guys so much Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. First of all, the story's excellent. It really ties everything together with this whole, these whole, Breath of the Wild style games. It sort of ties all that together pretty well. But even beyond the story, I just really enjoyed the gameplay. The mission structure, I was never bored of it. I could see how someone could look at that and say it's repetitive, but I really found it to be good in its combat. Better than most Dynasty Warrior games. I think it's the best of all the Nintendo Dynasty Warrior crossovers, including Age of Calamity, which I really loved Age of Calamity back in 2020. The problem was the frame rate was awful there. The frame rate was rock solid here. And this was a serious consideration for my game of the year. It really, really was. But I played through the entire fucking game. I beat every side quest. I did everything in that game. I did not even do that with number 1 on my list, which number 1 is Donkey Kong Bonanza, no doubt. And that's because the highs of that game are higher than any high I've had in any game, probably this decade. When it comes to the level design, when it comes to the gameplay and the mechanics. And yes, the story's touching too, more touching than I thought it would be. And the voice acting's better than I thought it would be. And the music's better than I thought it would be. So much of that game is just, I completely blew away my expectations beyond belief. Like, I could definitely tell the Odyssey team worked on it. I actually think it's better than Super Mario Odyssey, which is fucking blasphemy. I'm pretty much saying it's either the best or one of the best 3D platformers of all time, bar none. Donkey Kong had different powers you could use. The final boss fight was absolutely fucking epic. Literally the only thing you could really point to where you could say, maybe I really kind of tailed off, was I wasn't too much of a fan of the post-game. I didn't sit there and collect every fucking banana, versus like a Hyrule Warriors where I did all the side quests. So I didn't sit there and do everything in the game. I felt pretty satisfied once I actually beat the game. I was trying to get a lot of bananas along the way. I forgot how many I had. But when I finally did, I didn't try to do a 100% run the whole way through. But when I finally did beat the boss, I felt pretty satisfied. Started the post game and then sort of moved on to the next thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I thought there were so many good levels in this thing. So much good enemy variety. Boss fights. I think some people said the boss fights were weak. I don't know what they were playing, because the boss fights I played were really fun. They were really great. And it was just colorful and wonderful. And I can't sing this game praises enough. I think it's definitely the best game of 2025 for me personally. That's the game I'm going to remember most this year. And it will be one of the games of the decade. Well, with that being said, guys, if you've actually watched this video long enough to hear me ramble, thank you for watching. This was my top 10. Why don't, in the comments below, you tell me what you liked the most this year. And by the way, my community really agrees with me on Donkey Kong Bonanza. Kind of surprised me a little bit, because the vote was 83% for Bonanza and only 17% for Clair Obscur. Maybe that's just the kind of audience I cultivate because I'm more of a Nintendo guy than anything. I wish I could stream Nintendo games. I would have loved to stream Donkey Kong Bonanza to you guys too. But again, Nintendo is a little strict on that shit. And I don't have the streaming software to do Nintendo stuff. But it's good to see my audience really knows, hey, we like Nintendo around here big time. And they like the game even over Clair Obscur, which is pretty cool to see, actually. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. This is RJ signing out. Have a good one.